Eyewitness News, Southern New England's #1 newscast, with Gayle King, Don Lark and Janet Peckinpaugh, Charlie Bagley's weather, and the people making news at 5.
Hello to you and welcome to Eyewitness News at 5 o'clock. What's really wrong with Elizabeth Taylor? We'll have a live update from the hospital in Santa Monica, where a news conference on her condition has just taken place. And we'll have a preview right here in the studio of the Shrine Circus' famous Canine Act. But right now, the latest from space. Janet? Gayle, that's tonight's first news at 5. The Hubble telescope has finally been launched. They tried to get it up. There were some delays, but the $1.5 billion Hubble Space Telescope has finally been launched. It was to have been set free in space early this afternoon, but the stuck solar power panel upset that time frame. The problem was fixed a few hours ago, and the telescope is now flying 330 nautical miles above Earth. The release of the Hubble means a new era for space exploration. Washington Bureau Chief Tina Gulland spent the day with students in the Air and Space Museum and talked with them about this latest space mission.
It's great to be here when the Discovery's up there and the telescope's being launched.
You didn't have to be a NASA scientist or even an American to tune in live coverage of the Hubble's step into space. The National Air and Space Museum put up huge TV monitors so visitors to the museum could watch as it happened.
This is the shuttle, and then the telescope is out on the arm, and it keeps moving.
Martha and Dan Taylor stared intently as 380 miles above the Earth, a robot arm moved a 43-foot-long telescope toward its destination, a 15-year-long fact-finding mission in space.
The possibilities are just fantastic. There's so much more about what's in the galaxy. I mean, gee.
The telescope has been placed in the high hover position.
Scientists at Goddard Space Center in Maryland, who command the Hubble and will interpret what the telescope sends back to Earth, are no less enthusiastic.
We think we should see something different because galaxies obviously didn't just pop into existence. Somehow they evolved from the early Big Bang into these beautiful pinwheels.
Perhaps, he says, we'll discover new solar systems, even new life, a possibility that dazzles viewers here. The Air and Space Museum has set up this exhibit of the Hubble telescope, tracing its development from 1984 through today. But it's the live broadcast from NASA that people find most compelling.
It's just amazing. The only thing is that I wish I was up there with them instead of watching it down here.
Although the telescope's first focused pictures are weeks away, the promise of looking back 14 billion light years and learning more than we've ever dreamed is captivating. In Washington, Tina Gulland, Channel 3, Eyewitness News.
In Nicaragua, Violeta Chamorro is inaugurated as president in front of a crowd of 15,000 people at a baseball stadium in downtown Managua. Daniel Ortega, the outgoing president, assisting at the ceremonies. His brother will stay on as head of the army, which has infuriated some of Chamorro's top advisors and the Contra rebels who want no trace left of the previous government. As we saw, representing the U.S. at the ceremonies was Vice President Dan Quayle and Connecticut Senior Senator Christopher Dodd. President Bush tonight says America's behind him, so he needs no defense for his refusal to act against the Soviets for the blockade in Lithuania. The president of Lithuania, though, tells a group of congressmen by telephone he, for one, expected more.
Of course, our first reaction is one of discouragement, disappointment.
Secretary of State Baker tonight says the administration is trying quiet diplomacy to encourage dialogue between Lithuanian and Soviet officials.
In West Germany, an assassination attempt on the man chosen to challenge Helmut Kohl in national elections next December. A middle-aged woman approached Oscar Lafontaine with a bouquet of flowers during a campaign rally in Cologne, then stabbed him in the neck. She is unidentified but has been arrested. One report says the wound is life-threatening. LaFontaine is the candidate for the opposition Social Democratic Party. Released hostage Robert Polhill gets set to leave Wiesbaden, West Germany with his family tomorrow and head home. Today, as his questioning continues, he took time to pose for pictures in the balcony of the hospital. American flags adorn his window, along with this banner saying, "Welcome home, pray for the others." It seems the investigating team is learning more about those still being held in Beirut from Polhill. A published report indicates fellow hostage Alan Steen had escaped briefly in 1987, was recaptured, then beaten by his captors. Steen's wife says she knows nothing about that.
Stockholders at Union Carbide's annual meeting are asked to increase the amount of aid for victims of the 1984 gas disaster in Bhopal, India. Concerns were voiced at the meeting in Danbury that the $470 million settlement was not enough. A motion to do more, though, was rejected, while India's government warned today that medical facilities for the victims are running out of money and may have to shut down.
An advance on Wall Street sends the Dow Jones Industrials up over 11 points to 2666 for the day. This ends a 5-day losing streak, although trading was light with only 134 million shares on the big board.
And in the Netherlands, a fresh honor for a special actress. The International Flower Bulb Center presenting Audrey Hepburn with a new tulip named after her, the Audrey Hepburn tulip.
Sure, it's lovely.
Kind of cream colored. Did you see it?
Yeah,
on the pillow there?
I saw that. I think that's really nice. Wouldn't you love to have a flower named after you, Don?
I think there should be one for Gayle and for Janet.
The Don Lark Rose. She said Don. Oh, yeah, I said Don. Janet and I already like it. I was just wondering about you.
Well, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Do you like the idea?
I think it's terrific.
All right, we'll see a little bit later on. His physician says in the time that he has taken care of her, and that's 10 years, this is the worst condition she has ever been in. Less than an hour ago, some of the doctors involved in her treatment at St. John's Hospital in Santa Monica met with reporters.
Ms. Taylor is responding to treatment for her pneumonia. She's breathing on her own. She is not receiving any artificial means of life support at this time. She is still in the intensive care unit.
But there are still a lot of unanswered questions and rumors about what may be wrong with Liz Taylor. KCBS reporter Penny Griego was at the news conference. She joins us live from Santa Monica. Penny, hello to you. We thank you for joining us from the West Coast tonight.
Thank you, Gayle.
We appreciate it. We heard a little bit of what the doctors had to say. What else did they tell you this afternoon?
Well, I can tell you one thing. They were trying to put those rumors that you mentioned to rest. They keep stressing that it is not AIDS, it is not cancer, despite all of the rumors that have been circulating. But again, they did mention that at one point this past weekend, her life was in jeopardy, and she was very, very ill, critically ill, they say. But again, right now, she appears to be improving. Does anybody know where the whole rumors of AIDS started from to begin with, and the rumors of cancer? You know, I don't really know. I guess because pneumonia is so closely associated with AIDS, and because she has done a lot of humanitarian work for the AIDS research, maybe somebody came up with a connection like that. But nobody seems to know exactly where that rumor began. I can tell you that her publicist is extremely angry because it got around.
Now, we heard yesterday that they were waiting for the results of a lung biopsy. Any word on that?
Yes, they did have the initial results on that biopsy today, and what it showed them was that she has a viral pneumonia. Now, they can't isolate the virus at this time, and they say many times you're just not able to isolate a virus. It's just too difficult. But in the meantime, that means they have to keep her on antibiotics. She'll have to continue using an oxygen mask, although they have taken her off of the ventilator. And again, she will remain in the intensive care unit.
You know, there was a lot of speculation yesterday when her publicist, as you mentioned, Chen Sam, flew from New York to California. Is anything being placed on that, the fact that she is there now instead of handling the story from New York as she has been in the past?
Well, you know, she wouldn't talk to us today on camera. We had all been expecting her to talk to us today. She said she would. She wouldn't speak on camera. We expect to talk to her a little bit later. I think that she's just good friends with Elizabeth Taylor, and because there has been so much concern raised, she has decided to be out here with her. She was very anxious to go up and see the actress and didn't want to talk to us on camera, but we were told she was going to find the actress in good spirits. In fact, there was one story that the doctors told. They said that she really wanted to come out here and wave to all of the reporters, but she didn't have her balcony attire.
Yeah, there are a lot of people that would love to see her today. Yeah. Is there a feeling in California that maybe doctors really know what's wrong with her, but they're just not saying? Or do most people believe the doctors clearly don't know what's wrong with what's wrong specifically with Elizabeth Taylor?
I think the doctors say they know what's wrong with Liz Taylor. They say it's a viral pneumonia, which isn't uncommon, and she has also suffered a severe case of pneumonia in the past. In the early 60s, while she was filming another movie, she had a severe case of pneumonia, and they say once you've had such a severe case, you're more susceptible to other cases. They don't act as though they don't know what it is. They don't know what virus it is, but they know it's a viral pneumonia.
I would imagine the hospital's being bombarded with flowers and cards from people wanting to pay their respects to Elizabeth Taylor.
They have. In fact, they've received dozens or hundreds and hundreds of letters from people all over the world. They said Denmark, South America, France, England. All of the mail, though, is going to her publicist. She hasn't seen any of it. There were a lot of flowers coming at first. That has tended to slow down a bit because she can't receive any of them either, and the publicist has said, please don't send flowers.
And did they give any indication today at all how much longer she'll be in the hospital, or is that just impossible to say?
Everybody was trying to get that out of her. They wouldn't tell us how long she'd be in intensive care unit, how long she'll be in the hospital, what kind of condition she'll be in, if she'll be weak when she gets out. They just don't know. They say they're just going to have to keep watching her at this time.
Well, a lot of people are watching. We thank you, Penny, for joining us. We do appreciate it.
Thank you, Gail.
Thanks. When we come back, Charlie Bagley says if we can get through the rain, there could be a touch of summer ahead. Weather's up next when we come back. Don't go away.